What if one invention could change how people worked, how goods moved, how cities grew, and even how fast the modern world took shape? It sounds impossible, but that is exactly what happened. And the invention at the center of this story did not just improve one machine. It set off a chain reaction that changed almost everything. To understand why, we have to go back to a time before factories filled the sky with smoke, before trains crossed continents, and before machines could do work that once took dozens of people. For most of history, power came from human hands, animal muscle, wind, or flowing water. That meant work was slow, limited, and tied to nature. Then people began searching for a better source of power. They needed something stronger, something steadier, something that could run day and night. And that search led to one of the most important breakthroughs in history, the steam engine. At first, the idea was simple. Water could be heated into steam. Steam expands with force. If that force could be controlled, it could push a piston, turn a wheel, and do useful work. That sounds obvious now, but at the time, it was a huge leap. Early versions existed, but they were weak and wasteful. They could pump water from mines, but they were far from transforming the world. So why did this invention matter so much? Because one major improvement changed everything. In the 18th century, a Scottish engineer named James Watt worked on a smarter steam engine design. He is often remembered as the man who helped make the steam engine practical for wider use. His big improvement was not inventing steam power from nothing. The basic machine already existed, but Watt made it far more efficient by separating the condenser from the main cylinder. That reduced wasted heat and made the engine much more useful. That may sound like a small technical change. It was not. It was the kind of change that can reshape history. Before Watt's improvements, steam engines burned huge amounts of fuel for little reward. Afterward, they became far more practical for factories and industry. Suddenly, a machine was available that could power tools without depending on a river or a windmill. That meant factories could be built in more places, production could grow, work could become faster, and the limits that had held back industry for centuries began to break. But this is where the story gets even more interesting. The steam engine did not just stay in one place. Once people saw what it could do, they began adapting it everywhere. In mines, it helped remove water so deeper digging became possible. In textile mills, it powered machines that made cloth faster than hand labor ever could. In ironworks, it supported larger-scale production of metal. And then came the next leap, transport. Could a machine be strong enough to move itself? That question changed the world again. Engineers learned to place steam power on wheels and rails. This led to steam locomotives and railways. Now goods could move faster than horses and wagons. Coal, iron, cotton, food, and passengers could travel over long distances in ways that had never been possible before. Towns connected to cities, markets grew wider, time and distance began to shrink. For ordinary people, the change was dramatic. Factories could make more products, shops could sell more goods, farmers could send produce farther away, and cities began to swell as workers moved in search of factory jobs. Life became faster, louder, and more connected. Still, The full impact of the steam engine is easy to miss if we only look at one machine. The real power of this invention was its ripple effect. It helped drive the Industrial Revolution, but it also helped create the modern world itself. Steam power pushed improvements in mining, metallurgy, manufacturing, transport, and trade. It encouraged new business models. It supported mass production. It helped turn local economies into national ones, and later into global systems. And there is another reason this invention spread so quickly. It solved a problem people had been fighting for generations. Power was no longer trapped by geography. A factory did not need a fast river. A city did not need perfect winds. Steam gave people a portable source of energy, and that changed the rules. Of course, it was not magic. Steam engines were messy, dangerous, and expensive. Early machines could fail. Boilers could explode. They needed coal, which meant more mining and more fuel use. The Industrial Revolution also brought harsh working conditions and pollution. So the steam engine was not simply a tale of progress without cost. It created new possibilities, but it also created new problems. That tension is part of why this invention matters so much. It was powerful enough to lift society into a new age, yet imperfect enough to show that progress always has a price. Now here is the biggest revelation. The steam engine did not only power factories and trains. It changed how people thought about what machines could do. Before steam, most technology assisted human effort. After steam, machines began to replace entire systems of labor. That shift opened the door to modern engineering, modern industry, and eventually the powered world we live in today. From railways to ships, from factory lines to massive industrial systems, the logic of steam power helped shape the future. Later inventions would use new energy sources, but they all followed a path made possible by this breakthrough. So when people ask how one invention changed the modern world, the answer is not just about heat, water, and pressure. It is about the moment humanity learned how to turn a natural force into a driving engine for progress. And once that happened, nothing ever looked the same again.